How's it going, guys? And yes, this is going to be one of my top Forex trading tips that I highly recommend everybody to know. If you're a beginner, if you're intermediate, if you're advanced, this is something that I highly recommend for everybody to know. Okay. And before we get to the video, as always, please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. When you hit that like button, please make sure to gently hit that like button because I've been getting way too many complaints from YouTube for the bell icon to be smashed, the like button to be smashed and be destroyed. We don't want that, right? So as always, please be able to go ahead and gently hit that like button, and let's get started with the video. So here we have GPUSD. One of the things that I want you guys to know that is a big factor for my entries is one, my RSI, the settings that I have, which is something very important that I have. It helps me find two things: divergence, well, three things: divergence, oversold or overbought, and verify my point of interest. Verify that this point of interest is a valid point of interest. And don't worry, I got you guys with that video of the point of interest. I will be talking about it next week, so stay tuned for that. But for right now, I'm going to tell you guys one of my top confirmations to know about. Yes, divergence. You got to be able to identify divergence before you identify point of interest, because divergence is just going to be divergence, and you're not going to be able to know exactly where the market is going to go down until you find that point of interest. Now, I want you to see this, okay? Over here, this is what divergence is. So what divergence is when you see the market doing one thing, which right here we have the market moving, and we see our RSI or our indicator doing the opposite thing. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and put vertical lines. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a vertical line here, and I'm going to put a vertical line here. So now that I have placed those vertical lines, now let's just focus in that area. Let's focus just in that area. What's happening? If you're able to identify, you can see that in this area, market is going up, and in this area, market is going down. This is what you consider divergence. Now, what happens when I see divergence? Do you immediately sell? Do you immediately buy? What do you do? No, you simply wait. Divergence is just one of the confirmations that you will take in consideration for the future to know that your trade is going to be a legitimate good trade. Now, the way that I use this, I use it as one of my first confirmations, right? I use it as one of my first confirmations to know that I am looking at the right spot, right time, right area, right everything, okay? So in this case, if I'm finding divergence, market going up in the charts, market going down in the RSI, this is telling me that market will potentially move down. It will potentially go ahead and follow what's going on with my RSI. And as you guys can see, market starts moving down very nicely. Okay, market starts moving down very nicely. That does not mean that my entry was right here. No, this is just a confirmation. Could you enter from there? Yes, you can enter with just confirmation. I have a really good friend that trades with just confirmation. It goes very well for him. But I like to have precision-based entries that will help me identify that my divergence is precise alongside with my point of interest. Now, if you pay attention here, market is slightly almost wanting to be oversold, okay? Now that helps me find my points of interest. Now, right above that area, I can see that there's some candlesticks. These candlesticks make a pattern, but I'm not looking at that pattern right there. The one that I'm looking at is this right here, accumulation of price. And I'll be talking about this later on in the future. Now, the accumulation of price has been tapped right in that area of divergence. Has been considered now as my potential point of interest. Now I'll be talking about point of interest later on in the following videos, but for now I want you guys to spot divergence. So this is my point of interest, okay? POI. Okay, here's my POI, my point of interest. As you guys can see, point of interest, divergence, market comes back up into that zone. Now, many people would say, hey, that's a great level, 1.34800 as psychological level, but this is when you go to other confirmations as far as imbalance zones and stuff like that you take in consideration. So I had a whole zone marked up in this area that I was taking consideration. And you guys can see based off of other trades that I went ahead and placed out. So this was a zone that I was going to go ahead and look at. But I would have not been able to go ahead and look at this zone right here and sell with a good risk reward if it wasn't for my divergence. So understand, divergence is when market is doing one